At about the age of 10 years old, my father and another fella taught me how to fish with my bare hands. This type of fishing in Illinois is called hogging. And there was a number of places along the old highway we do this type of fishing. One was south of Lexington, Illinois, called the Mackinac, and one north of Lincoln, Illinois, called the Kickapoo. And one of my all-time favorites behind me here is Salt Creek. Salt Creek, as it passes under Old 66, produces some of the largest flatheads that we've caught in the neighborhood of 40 pounds or larger. I tell you, we've already talked about some things and how John got started and Dad. And, I just thought there's so much experience there. I've seen a number of other tapes done on hogging and that, and I just wanted to do a documentary to honor these guys and talk about what a privilege it is to grow up and have such good parents and good friends, family, and to do something like this. I truly enjoyed it when I was real young. These guys would go before I was old enough, and they would come. I can remember them coming home, and I was always excited to see the fish they would bring. And then they got on this, I called it a kick at that time, to see how many carp they could hog. And they bring these big old gunny sacks full of carp home to show everybody. And then they'd go in the house and say, "Okay, Cal, go bury the fish." Because we didn't clean the carp, and I had to go back out. We lived along a cemetery with a chain link fence there, and I don't know how many pounds of carp I ended up digging holes and burying back there, but I can tell you we had the best looking rose bushes in the neighborhood on that. But you know, learning to hog when I was finally old enough to go, you know, and Frank will talk, I'm sure, some about what it was like too. When you're younger, you go along, and we didn't have rafts and stuff like we do today. But we just carry stringer and carry sticks for these guys and stuff when they would hog and learn to do that. And we would carry fish and block holes. I mean, that's pretty much what we did. It wasn't we reached right in the hole and got fish. It's kind of like an apprenticeship without a set time period. You go along and you block enough holes, and eventually a fish will come your way. It'll get past one of these guys because you don't get them all. And you just kind of learn, and when you get that opportunity and the fish gets past one of them and you get him, it's just a great rush and a great feeling to know that you didn't back away, because you'll find if you're not experienced and that fish runs up and hits you, a lot of people will back away from that hole and let the fish ride out. So you kind of prove yourself as you go along with that. And I remember one of the best times I had was John come and got me one time. Dad was going for some training, I think, with the fire department, and John come got me one evening, and we went down, jumped in Mackinac and checked some slabs under a bridge. And John went way down deep under the water and come up, and he said, "Boy, Cal," he said, "there's a log down here with a hole in the side of it." And he said, "Man, that's a catfish nest if I ever felt it, but he ain't in there." And he said, "Go down and feel that hole." And I went down and I reached back in there just like John told me to, you know. And he was right, boy, the sand was there, and it was just, you knew it was a catfish hole. And as I was bringing my hand out, I reached up, and it was a big blue cat, and he was laying right up in the top of that log. And I thought, man, I was about out of air and I needed to come up, but I thought, I'm gonna try to grab this fish, you know. And man, I got a hold of that thing and I brought it up. When I come to the top of the water, John looked at me, his eyes big, and he goes, "Where'd you find him at?" on there. And it just made me feel like, all right, I've proven myself that I can get a fish, and it was an honor to go like that. And you just kind of develop that after a period of time. It takes time to learn that and what these holes feel like.
John, Charlie, me and Paul floating down the river called the Mackinac, arresting them old catfish and catching them by hand, bringing them back on for the frying pan. Oh, we're not loggers, they call us hoggers. We're the catfish men. Now you find them catfish in the funniest spots, wash tubs, culverts, even old coffee pots. Piles of logs and big refrigerators, they grab your hand like an old alligator. Oh, we're not loggers, they call us hoggers. We're the catfish men. Under the water, old Big John would go, the thumping the bubbles soon let us know. Fish was home and the fight was on. Pop would holler, "Knock him out, John." Oh, we're not loggers, they call us hoggers. We're the catfish men. One day in the river, it was hot as a fire. There was Pop standing by some big old tire, 12 feet across and 4 feet wide. Hole in the middle where 4 men could hide. So into the middle now we did crawl. A few minutes later we was having a ball. Fish was a-swimming around and round. Me and Papa bobbing for him up and down. And I said, here he is. Pop said, no, here he is. But there was 2 of them. Well, now that's my story of how it's done. Be a hog is not for everyone. But if you care to give it a try, come along with us and you'll know why.